inclusion in the trial balance does not affect the trial balance. And that's why we'll be going to the error that will affect the agreement of trial balance. You know, we're talking about trial balance is the arithmetic accuracy of a different account extracted from the ledger. Now, why is it that this error affects the trial balance at the end of the agreement of trial balance, which is talking about the total of the debit and the credit side? Is that let me give you just hint. The hint is that if it affects one account and does not affect second account, that means it will definitely affect the trial balance at the end of the day. That means if one is affected and another is not affected, then it will affect the trial balance. But if like the one that does not affect trial balance, it must affect the two accounts. So that means the inclusion in the trial balance does not affect the trial balance. Though it has to be included, but it does not affect a trial balance. That is, we can call it balancing in error. You can balance an account and it will still have an error which will be able to may be able to identify or may not be able to identify at the end of the day. So now we're going to an error that will affect the trial balance. What are the errors? What are the items that do affect the trial balance, the agreement of the total accuracy of the trial balance? We have number one, we have one side omission. One side omission, this occurs when there is an omission in one of the two accounts. That means one account is affected, one account is not affected. That means it will definitely affect the trial balance at the end of the day. Let's take an example, e.g. payment of rent cash was entered in the trial balance but not in the rent account. Now, this is a cash account, this is a rent account. Now, look at it. They said the payment of rent cash was entered into the cash book as rent. $170, but not entered into the rent account. That means it was omitted. It was omitted in the rent account. So that means cash book will be transferred into the trial balance, of which this rent will not be included in the trial balance. So in this course, how are we going to correct the errors? What we just do is that this error that is discovered, we name it as a suspense. Suspense. That is the reason why you prepare what we call suspense account. That means when there is a divergence between the debit side and credit side of the trial balance, the differences is what we call suspense. You put it in suspense and you start identifying this error and correct that error. Now, for us to correct this now, we now prepare rent account and suspense account. Then so you now debit it. That is 170, and the suspense account rent. So that is 170. Then you prepare the ledger for it. You prepare journal, debit, credit. So rent and suspense this is a 170 and this is a 170. So then you do the narration at the end. You do the narration at the end. We did that rent omitted being corrected. So that is the narration for that. Now the second one is misposting of figures to the account. You know, we talked the first one, one-sided omission. Then this one is misposting of figures to the account. This error occurred when an item was recorded on the debit side with different figure, different from the figure recorded on the credit side. Here, if what this is trying to tell us, it will definitely affect the trial balance at the end of the day. Let's take the illustration. We said sales of goods 209. This is sales. You know, sales has to be credited. Sales of goods 209. And this is a cash account. This is a sales account. He said it was recorded in the sales account. Now, and debited into the cash account as 902. You know, under cash, it has to be any sales you make has to be debited. So sales. So can you see now that it will definitely affect the trial balance at the end of the day, because this cash account is supposed to be 209. So they mistakenly put a wrong figure therein. So now, how are we going to correct the error? This is here we go. That error is what we call suspense. You prepare cash account, because the reason why we are preparing cash account is that the cash account is where the error occurs, not the sales account. That's why I told you that it is the error that affects one account and does not affect the other account. It causes abeyance in the agreement between the trial balance. Now, we will now adjust, we now correct the error, and the error will put it in suspense. So we prepare suspense account. So now, in doing this is an error. This is where there is error. So you return 200 plus 209. That is 396. So you return this 696. You return it back. So you write suspense, which is, then you now debit your suspense, which is a cash. That is a 693. So then you prepare the necessary journal for it, that debit will be debited, suspense will be debited, and cash will be credited. That is how we correct this error of misposting. Then the third one says error in transferring of total of subsidiary book. This is a kind of error. This error can occur when transferring the total of subsidiary book to the ledger. This is a kind of error that when you are transferring, you know, I told you that accounting is the process. You extract information to the ledger from the subsidiary book, and you transfer it from the ledger to the balance at the end of the day. Now, e.g., a sales of goods to Okoro has been correctly recorded in the sales book as 240, but had been debited to his account as 224 naira. Now, these are the errors. This is the error. They say the sales of goods has been corrected. So sales. Then the sales of Okoro. This is Okoro. Now, a sales of goods of Okoro has been correctly recorded in the sales book. Okoro. The sales goods to Okoro as 240. Now, Okoro, who is receiving that goods, then they now write 24. So that means there is an error here. It does not affect this side, but it affects Okoro's account, because it's supposed to be 240 instead of 24. Now, what you now do is that you prepare Okoro's account to correct the error. Okoro and the suspense. So what you now do is that you add Okoro account, which is 640. You say 240 minus 24. That is 6. That is 1. That is 2. So that is 216. Then you debit Okoro account back as suspense. 216. Then Okoro, which is 216. So you return, you balance it with 216 so that it will become 240 at the end of the day. So these are you, because it will definitely affect the trial balance at the end of the day. Then another one is 2 entries error that occur in the trial balance, which has to do with the 2 entries on the same side. 2 entries on the same side. Now here, 2 entries can be made on one side of the account and 1 entry on the other account. Now, say e.g. sales of goods 300 naira cash was debited twice to the cash account. This is a sales cash 300. Now, under cash account, it was not debited twice. That sales 300, sales 300. You can see that there is an error here. So this is an error. So this one is correct, but this one is not correct because you have to post it the sales here.